We're going to do some low back and hamstring work today. Exploration. And just allow the body to settle and the breath to deepen. And perhaps the hands, the palms can turn down or maybe turn sideways so the pinky fingers resting on the mat. So let's begin with our low back 101, our very first exploration, which is the pelvic tilt cycle. Today, when we're doing the pelvic tilt, I'm going to invite you to bring your attention below the belly button. We're looking for the deep abdominal muscles. So we're engaging the abdomen as we roll up, flatten the waist, tuck the belly up and in. And then on the out breath, we're going to roll down across the tailbone. When we get that space, that gap underneath our back, tuck the belly in again, the low belly right below the belly button. Tuck that in. And we're going to see if we can roll through this posture and keep engagement in our core. So now we're coming up, flattening the waist, the head tilts back, the belly draws up and in, breath keeps moving. And then we roll down toward the tailbone. This takes our chin to the chest. There's that nice space underneath our spine, underneath our low back. And we tuck the belly up and in. And then rolling up, flatten the waist, tuck the belly up and in. The head tilts away. Keep that belly engaged here. We'll be here for a couple of breaths. And then rolling down toward the tailbone. Draw that low belly in and feel that engagement. Breathe here a couple of breaths. And then we come to neutral spine. We just allow ourselves to settle back in to constructive rest posture. We're going to bring the attention to the right leg now. We're going to draw the right leg up. And now the left leg. Both legs come up. We'll feel the abdominals engage here, especially if we bring the knees forward so they're right above the hip joints. If this feels like too much, maybe it's enough to have the feet on the floor, on the ball mounds of the big toe, on the floor, heels lifted. We're looking to engage abdominal muscles here. Low back's best friend is strong core, and the abdominals are part of the core. Not all of it, part of it. So maybe it would feel good to lift one foot and then the other. Then release the first foot slowly with control back to the floor. The second foot returns slowly back to the floor. If you're keeping the feet near the floor, maybe it's just a little shallow lift. We're going to go back and forth here. So we draw one leg up, the second leg comes up, the first one returns with control to the floor, and the second one returns with control to the floor. Switch sides, starting with the opposite leg comes in, and the second leg comes in. The first leg returns to the mat, and then the second leg. One more time on each side. One leg up, second leg up, first leg down, second leg down. Keep the breath moving here. Opposite leg up, second leg up, first leg down, second leg down. When we're back on the mat, walk the feet wide as the mat. Just allow the body a little release, doing windshield wipers. Breathing here. Then walk the feet together so the insteps touch and allow the knees to fall open. Soles of the feet touch. And we rest here for just a minute, just releasing and relaxing, opening and stretching in the inner thighs, in the pelvic girdle. And then using your hands to gently press the legs back up. And it might feel good to draw the legs in one at a time. And maybe rock gently right and left. And if you'd like a little bit more, this is optional. Lift your nose towards your knees. And then release. And again, on an out breath, lift the nose toward the knees. And one more out breath, nose toward knees. Releasing the head. And then slowly, with control, lowering one leg or both legs simultaneously to the mat, drawing the low belly in, and noticing the engagement in the abdominal area. We're coming back to pelvic tilts now. So we're rocking back and forth, up and down on the sacrum. And just noticing if anything has changed since the first go round of this action. And pausing. We're going to grab a strap now. So have your strap nearby. You may not need the strap. It can be very helpful, though, for some of the things we're going to do next. Let's start with the right leg. We're going to draw that right leg in and interlace the fingers behind the leg. If that's not comfortable, the strap can do that task. And then we're slowly going to extend the leg. Keep that foot flexed, toes coming back toward the knee. We're going to extend the leg. It doesn't have to be straight. The knee can have a bend in it. And then we're slowly releasing that. Keep the leg up, though. So we're going to extend, And if you notice that your shoulders are tight while doing this, that's a clue for the strap to come into play. We're just going up and down. And maybe each time we extend, we're pressing the heel just a little bit closer to the ceiling. We're going to do that one more time. Extend. Then slowly, with control, we're going to release that foot to the floor. Draw the belly in as we do this. Pause for a moment, noticing the right and the left side of the body. We're going to stay on the right leg. And we're going to do half of a happy baby. You may want a strap for this, or maybe not. We're going to take our hand and we're going to hold the outside of the foot. If that is too much, that's where the strap comes in. The strap holding the foot for us. So the elbow, if you're holding it, the elbow is going to be on the inside of the knee. You can have it on the outside. That's a little more of a challenge. But we're just allowing our body to settle here as we draw the knee closer to the heart. And it can help if you take the leg a little wider than the torso. We're breathing here. And as we settle here, whether we're using our hand to hold the foot or the strap, notice how the resting in this posture, the attention begins to move to different places. Maybe it was at the hip flexor first. Maybe now you can feel the glutes. Maybe all the way up into the low back. To release this, let the strap go, let the hand go, keep the leg up, and we're going to draw that calf over the left leg. So now we're sitting secretary style. And we do a little roll to the right, and then we come back to center. We go to the right and back to center. When we're rolling to the right, notice that the head wants to travel with. Let the head go to the right also. Just a gentle rocking motion here. And now, this may be enough. If you'd like a little bit more, float the arms out to T or cactus. Stick them up pose. Hands on the floor. And we're going to take this into a twist over to the left side. At any point, if it feels too much strain in the low back, then just come back to this resting posture. But if you have a little desire or it feels good, we're taking this into a twist. This twist works a little muscle here that pinches the sciatic nerve. It's called the piriformis, and this really allows a nice stretch in that part of the body. And most people are very tight there. If it feels good, you can also turn your head to look to the right. Legs are on the left. We're breathing here. Or your knees are just draped and you're centered And that's great. Now we're going to unwind this. So slowly slide that leg out so that the feet stack. So now the knees are together, the feet are stacked. Bring the head back to center. And we're going to roll gently across the back of the pelvic bone, the pelvic bowl coming back to center. We're in constructive rest. Now notice how your hands rest. We started with palm down. See if the palm down position is maybe easier or more full, more available. Notice the right and the left side of the body. I think the left side, the left leg would like to participate because it's just too much fun. So let's do that. We're going to slowly draw that left leg in. We're reaching behind the leg using either our hands or a strap. Hands interlaced behind the thigh or strap holding. Flexed foot, toes coming back toward the knee. And we're going to straighten more or less. No strain though, and then bend. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Straighten. And this time when we bend, we're going to just let the foot with slow, controlled motion return to the floor. Engage the abdominals. And we pause here. Breathe. And again, now we're going to draw that leg up. So draw the belly in, press the low back into the mat to draw the leg up. And now we're going to hold the outer edge of the foot, or we're going to use a strap as we pull the knee closer to the heart. And again, maybe a little wider than the torso, but we're coming up closer to the heart. We're going to be here for several breaths. So just settle in. And of course, at any point, if this feels straining or too challenging for the day, you could just slowly return the foot to the floor. Of course you can. And as we settle here and allow this stretch to deepen, begin to notice, bring your attention to all of the places in the pelvic girdle and the glutes that are being impacted, maybe all the way up into the low back. See if we can feel our way into all the different areas that are being affected by this. We're breathing. And now we're going to slowly drape our legs together. So now we bring our left leg to rest on the right. And we gently roll to the left, just to the edge of the pelvis. We don't roll all the way to the side, and then we come back to center, not moving past the center. We're just rolling to the left and to center, letting the head follow the movement. And this may be enough just to have the legs draped with a little rocking motion. If you'd like a little bit more, we can take that left foot all the way across the body and bring it to the floor. And maybe the arms are at T or at cactus. Maybe they just want to rest on the belly or the ribs. We're pausing here. Of course, if this feels like too much, we're back with just the knees draped. If we're in this twist, maybe it feels good to turn the head to the left and look over out at the camellia bush, which is getting ready to bloom. Yay! We're breathing here, softening. And then to return to neutral, we're sliding that foot down, stacking the instep, stacking the knees, and then rolling back to center across the back side of the pelvic bowl. When we get to center, breathe in, and on the out breath, press the back into the mat as we lift one leg at a time into our heart, and then maybe rock gently right and left. With slow control, bring both feet back to the mat or do it one at a time. Engage the abdominals and keep the breath moving. Press your low back into the mat as you release to the floor. And we pause in constructive rest. So we did half a happy baby on each side. Maybe we'd like to do the whole happy baby. For this, I'm holding the inner edges of my feet. If that feels like too much, hold behind the knees. The knees, though, are wider than the torso. And when we're in this motion, in this position, in this posture, we're rolling right and left. If you've ever seen a baby, they like to do this for sure. And as we're doing this, maybe noticing the back of the head, how that's rolling as well as the pelvis. The shoulder blades are rolling. Notice that. We're going to come back to center. Give the legs a nice hug. And roll right and left. We're returning our feet to the mat with slow control, either simultaneously or one at a time. Keep the breath moving. And when the feet have returned to the mat, scoot the insteps together and let the knees fall open, soles of the feet touching. Baddha Konasana. And maybe noticing, is there a little more ease in this posture now? One thing about this posture is you can also, if you're practicing on your own at home, you could tuck a block under each leg, and that supports this posture and allows the inner thigh muscles to get a little bit of a stretch, which for many people, they don't. They don't get worked very much. So that's a postural helper. We're going to close the legs now. So gently press them up with your hands. We come back to constructive rest. And notice now how your hands rest on the floor. Your shoulder girdle, your pelvic girdle, the feet. Just do a body scan and notice, how does it all feel now? We'll enter our time of Shavasana. In Shavasana, turning the palms up is a deep relaxation technique. And maybe you want to stay in constructive rest, or perhaps sliding the legs long and letting the feet fall open. Do what feels best for you. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. Our thought for today is from Rumi. Very little grows in jagged rock. Be grounded, be crumbled, so wildflowers will come up where you are. Rumi, a note about softening, I think. We gently begin to deepen our breath, drawing our breath into our fingers and our toes. And the feet come to standing on the mat if they're not already there. We gently roll to one side and bring ourselves to seated. We open our arms wide to gather all the blessings that already exist, and we draw them in appreciation and gratitude into our hearts. And together we all say, Namaste.
Namaste.